Imagine being in therapy and realizing it's more like wandering through a maze of emotional minefields than a straightforward path to healing. That's the gritty, unfiltered truth that Mary Bronstein's sophomore film, If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, dares to explore. But here's where it gets controversial. What if the very person meant to help you is just as flawed as you are? Stick around, because this movie doesn't just show therapy, it rips it open, warts and all, leaving you questioning everything you thought you knew about seeking help. In this exclusive interview, senior writer Mary Bronstein, no relation to the filmmaker, dives deep into her film's unflinchingly honest depiction of the therapy process. Released by A24 and starring Byrne as the fierce yet fraying protagonist Linda, the movie hits theaters in limited release now, with a wider expansion on October 31st. For anyone who's ever felt the weight of life's ups and downs, those big tragedies and the tiny annoyances that can tip you over the edge, therapy often promises solace. It's a space to unload your emotional load, confront the good and bad, and maybe find a way forward. But let's be real, finding the right therapist can feel like descending into Dante's Inferno, armed only with a flickering flashlight. You dodge the charlatans who barely listen, the ones who shove pills at every problem, or the friends' recommendations who spout clichés that belong on coffee mugs. And if you're unlucky, like I was once, you end up with a one-upper therapist who tops your woes with tales of someone getting shot right in front of them. The trial and error grind is draining, and that's why so many folks stay stuck in toxic therapist-patient relationships. The idea of starting over is just too daunting, keeping them lounging on that proverbial couch, even when it's not helping. Yet, despite therapy being such a universal struggle, media rarely portrays it accurately. We usually see characters in therapy after they've magically found the perfect match, or their sessions go swimmingly on day one. Think of Tony Soprano's complex bond with Dr. Melfi. Sure, extenuating circumstances kept him tethered, but stumbling upon a therapist who gets you instantly. That's fiction. And characters ditching a bad therapist? Even rarer. But Bronstein flips the script. In If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, we jump into an ongoing, stagnant therapy dynamic that's anything but idyllic. Linda, a therapist herself battling her own chaos, knows the ins and outs of good and bad therapy. Played with ferocious intensity by Byrne, she's at a crossroads. Her sessions start to unravel as her life spirals, her daughter's mysterious illness, an absentee husband, a client mirroring her own maternal fears, and even a gaping hole in her apartment ceiling forcing her to live in a hotel. Therapy morphs from a tool for progress into a mere dumping ground for her frustrations, where judgment-free venting is the only perk. And here's the part most people miss. Bronstein shows how a once-solid dynamic can sour quickly, making the film a stark contrast to the polished therapy scenes we're used to in TV and movies. It's raw, real, and uncomfortably refreshing, like peeking behind the curtain of human vulnerability. Bronstein, a New Yorker like me, laughs when I bring up writing the therapy scenes. Throw a pebble in New York, and you'll hit someone in therapy, she jokes. Drawing from her own experiences since age 14, she's had every type of therapist imaginable. It's like a romantic relationship, she explains. A great fit for one person might be a mismatch for you. This ties into the film's subtle exploration of transference. Linda's hints of romantic feelings toward her therapist, Conan O'Brien, who plays the role with understated nuance. Early on, she recounts a dream where he gets closer and tickles her, later blurting out, "I love you," after a workplace crisis. Bronstein notes it's not far-fetched. Therapy often mimics romance, with clients attaching deeply to their confidant. But when Linda glimpses another patient's shoes on the couch, it hits her hard. She's just one of many, and the relationship is one-sided. There's pain in realizing your therapist is human, with limits, Bronstein says, recounting her own awkward encounter waiting outside a session. It feels like a betrayal. This leads to a controversial point: boundaries in therapy. Bronstein is a staunch advocate for them. "I'm a big believer in therapy, but enter it knowing the limitations," she advises. If a therapist lacks boundaries, run. But if they're too rigid, like the old-school Freudian blank slate, ditch them too. Linda pushes these boundaries, desperate for affirmation that she's special. She probes about his kids, snapping when he won't disclose. It's a moment of intense frustration, highlighting how therapy should offer empathy and space to vent anger safely. If it's too much for the therapist even in that protected space, where else can it be okay? Bronstein asks. For beginners wondering about therapy, think of it as a safe harbor for emotional storms, but it's not a magic fix. Dynamics can turn unhealthy, and recognizing that early can prevent deeper ruts. The film masterfully illustrates the exhausting quest for sanctuary in adulthood. Linda's home feels unsafe, the hotel a constant nag of inadequacy as a mom, and her office tense with her dual role as colleague and patient. Bronstein ponders the unfairness. Why do tragedies strike some and not others? There's no answer. Yet, the movie offers a quiet truth: life throws endless strife, and seeking help, through friends, family, or professionals, doesn't guarantee ease. Therapy might push you back before pulling you forward, like that pencil snapping after a house fire. But by addressing both deep traumas and daily irritants, it equips you to spot your breaking points. Bronstein hopes this unpredictability inspires more honest storytelling. I made a film I'd want to see, she says. Anything can happen. So, what do you think? Is therapy overhyped as a cure-all, or is it undervalued for its real potential? Should therapists reveal more personal details to build trust, or do strict boundaries protect everyone? And this is the part that might spark debate: could a therapist-patient relationship ever cross into something more without ethical fallout? Share your perspectives in the comments. Do you agree with Bronstein's take, or do you have a counterpoint from your own experiences? Let's discuss.